What is going on, guys? Matt O'Leary back again with another video. Today we're going to talk about Aaron Glenn giving the latest injury updates. Some Jets trade rumors heat up a little bit, and we have the final practice before Cutdown Day. Who was there and who wasn't? Let's start with the injury front. We talked a little bit about it earlier today with Allen Lazard. Here's Aaron Glenn talking Jets injuries.
I would say like Tyrod. I think he's on track. Sauce is on track. Isaiah, he's on track. I feel really, really good with the guys that were injured and where they're at right now. They still have a protocol they have to go through as far as getting themselves ready, but I do feel good about those guys.
Like I said, we already knew about Allen Lazard, but Tyrod Taylor, Sauce Gardner, and Isaiah Davis all look like they are trending towards being ready for week 1 of the regular season. Thank goodness, especially for, well, Sauce is the biggest star of those three. So you need Sauce Gardner healthy. Not that I was really all that concerned about Sauce's health, but with Tyrod, that's also a big one because there was a lot of debate on who should be QB3 for the Jets between Adrian Martinez and Brady Cook. Martinez already cut, so Brady Cook is still hanging around here. But reality, don't really want to see either one of those guys as the main backup to Justin Fields, at least with Tyrod. We know what he is. He is a good player when called upon. Do I want him starting a full 17-game season with his health concerns, especially after getting hurt again this preseason? Maybe a different story, right? But can he come in and play a game or two for you and hold down the fort? Yes, I think he can. So that's good news there. All right, let's talk about the Cutdown Day practice. Here are some guys who were there at practice, still fighting out for spots, apparently, according to this. At practice, running backs and Wanu and Edwards, wide receivers Gibson, Pritchett, and Quentin Skinner, Jeremy Ruckert at tight end, offensive line Cole Laval, Xavier Newman, Carter Warren, defensive end Michael Clemens practiced today, okay, Braden McGregor as well, defensive tackle Peyton Page, Jay Tufele, linebackers Zaire Barnes, Boog Smith, Jackson Sermon, safety Dean Clark, cornerback Jarek Bernard Converse. Now, the two notables who were not at practice, Brandon Smith and Leonard Taylor. Now, I think some people are concerned about those guys making the team, and them not being there doesn't necessarily guarantee that they haven't made it. But looking at both those guys, with Brandon Smith, we talked about it in the first video today. If Allen Lazard is healthy, it's hard to find room for Brandon Smith on this team. I personally would prefer to keep Brandon Smith over Allen Lazard, but I don't know if the Jets feel that way. And after the defensive tackle trades, well, Leonard Taylor, I think, was pushed further down the depth chart. And with him playing late into that third preseason game, probably doesn't bode well for him either. But again, we'll see what happens tomorrow. That's when the big news will officially drop. Okay, 2 notes on the trade front. Number 1, Jakobi Meyers asked for a trade, and the Jets are still in the mix, or still interested in potentially adding a wide receiver, and obviously not as sexy as Terry McLaurin, who just signed an extension today for $32 million a year, but a really solid and, dare I say, underrated wide receiver in this league. 87 catches for 1,027 yards. He's had 4 straight years with 800-plus receiving yards. Still only 28 years old. 0 drops last year. 0. A 3.6 drop rate for his entire career, which is just flat out excellent. We've seen a lot of frustrating drops from the New York Jets in recent years. Allen Lazard, one of the biggest offenders of the drop, unfortunately, but Jakobi Meyers, you're not going to get a guy who drops very many passes for whoever does acquire him. Just things not working out there with the Raiders. Now, I'm interested. I don't know if you're going to trade a 3rd-round pick for him. That's what it costs to get. Devontae Adams from the Raiders last year. Granted, that was in season. But at the same time, that's not where I would want to go. 4th round pick or later, I'd strongly consider it. I really would if you could sign him to a small extension, like tack on maybe 2 more years to his contract or another year on his contract. You have him for his age 28, 29 season or 28, 29, 30 season. So it's not just the 1-year rental. And he would immediately be a massive, massive upgrade to what is a weak wide receiver room outside of Garrett Wilson. Also, apparently the Jets are trying to trade Carter Warren. Good luck. I don't think the Jets would likely get anything, but who knows? Maybe it's a pick swap situation. We saw a couple pick swaps trades with the Jets trading for Briggs from the Browns, and essentially, the Derek Nottie trade that they did yesterday, and Harrison Phillips and guys like that. So maybe you can get something for Carter Warren. If I'm betting on it, I think they're most likely to just cut him, and we'll see if he ends up back on the practice squad or someone could just claim him and add him to their roster. But I would be pretty surprised if the Jets get anything in return for Carter Warren. That said, there's been trades at this time of year that have been real head scratchers. Didn't think the Jets would be able to get anything for guys like Chris Herndon, and he gets traded. That's just one example. I'm sure there's Jacob Martin was another guy that was traded, which is also kind of head scratching. It's happened in the past before, so I guess I shouldn't say there's no chance of it happening, but we'll see. Again, something that will happen likely in the next 24 hours or so. If not before we find out who makes the team and who doesn't. So just wanted to come back and give you like the latest news of the day. If anything else happens, I'll pop on for a quick video, but that's where we are right now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you next time.